So today we're going to be working on our Making Games badge, as I said before. My favorite game as a kid was Cooties, which I don't even know if they even still have the game Cooties. They had like these bug parts and you had to put them all together, and then you had to roll dice to get the legs and the head and the little antenna, and it was a really cute game. Then as an adult, my favorite game is Monopoly. So we're going to talk a little bit about, I don't know if many of you brownies play Monopoly. I like it because you play with money. Some games you have money and you buy things and you have to budget your money. But this is the game board, which is really cool. Look at how it goes into 4. Isn't that cool? But then it has these places that you land on. And when you land on it, you have the option to buy it if you have the money. So I'm looking inside this box of all these games, and they have play money, and they have the little houses and the little figures that you go around with, the little characters. They do have cards, and they have dice. So what we're going to talk about today are the different types of games and what you can do. So let's start with why games are important. Games are important because they help us increase our concentration, and we use our imaginations, and there are some games that teach us teamwork and how to get along with others. So it's a good practice to always be a good sport and say congratulations to the one that wins, and because we can't win all the time. And you want to be a good friend. So the 5 steps of completing this badge are: number 1, a scavenger hunt. Number 2, make a mystery game. Number 3, create a party game. Number 4, change the rules. And number 5, invent a whole new game. So we're going to be focusing on step 5 today, but I will be giving you ideas for the rest of the other steps. So the scavenger hunt, I will be including several PDFs that are available that you can print out to do your scavenger hunt, or you can make up your own scavenger hunt. So during a scavenger hunt, you make a list of items, and you have to find these items either in your house or outside. And I came across something that was really cool. They had a scavenger hunt that you do outside with a flashlight. So you would do it at dark. So you could put things out there like a baseball. Be careful you don't fall over it. But different things you can put outside and enjoy spending time with your family and friends looking for things. And then whoever found the most things wins. So I am going to include those so that you can do those with your family. You can set it up where you put specific things. You can put like all like 50 army men all around your house in different spots, and then they can try to find all 50 of them also. So you can do something like that. So step number 2 is to make a mystery game. So you can play a game like everyone is saying, like everybody ask, this could be played in a car too. What would you take on a picnic? So you would start with, I'll take a picnic basket. And then the next person can say, I'll take a picnic blanket. And, oh, I'm going to take bananas. I'm going to take watermelon. And you go take turns all the way around. So everybody gets a turn. But when you run out of things to say, that person's out. Or if you repeat something that somebody's already said, then they're already out. So it's kind of a mystery. And you can't repeat the item. So as soon as the last person is left, they're the ones that win. So we also have step 3. It's a create a party game. And you can play freeze dance. And this is a lot of fun. You play music and everybody dances. And when they stop, they have to freeze in the spot that they're at. Even if they're on one foot, or their weight is shifted and they're about to fall, they can't move. All you can do is blink and breathe. And if they move, then they're out. So you can change up the rules of this and play it how you like to play it at a party, like a birthday party, or just enjoy family parties. Give it a try. Step number 4 is changing the rules. So the idea of this is to do something different with a game that you already know. So I have a game board with checkers on it. And you know when you play checkers that you can jump them forward and diagonal. Well, what if you could only jump them diagonal? Even if they were right in front of you, you can't jump over them. Well, that'd be changing the rules, and that would be really hard. It would add some challenge to your game. So you might want to try something like that. You could try playing Simon Says, and instead of saying Simon Says, hop on one foot, if you say Simon Says, then you're not supposed to do it. Kind of a little confusing, but it would get people to really listen to the game, and it might be kind of hard. Add to the challenge of your game by changing the rules. So you can try that this week. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our own game. I'm making a game board. So how many of you have ever played Candyland, Chutes and Ladders, or the Game of Life? I'm waiting to see. Let's see. Anybody? Candyland, Chutes and Ladders, Game of Life, Monopoly, board games. Well, your game board can be made of a piece of cardboard, if you have it, a clean pizza box, a piece of poster board, or an old game board. So if you have some games at home that all the pieces are missing from them and you can't play them anymore, you can always reuse a game board. Or you can use a pizza box. So if you call and get pizza, this way, if you call and get pizza, a lot of times you can order just an extra box, and they may charge you a quarter or 50 cents for it, but they may not if you tell them I'm a Girl Scout and I'd like to try a new game. Usually when you have pizza boxes, they're kind of messy, but you never know. You might have one that's not too bad. And what you do is you put it together if it's flat, and what you're making out of it is a game board inside. And what's nice about having this game board inside is that you can put all the pieces all together, and it makes it into its own little box to take it home. Put it on the shelf so you don't lose any of the pieces. So let's see. The first thing we're going to talk about is the game board itself. So I use the pizza box, or you could use poster board, whatever you have at home that's a little bit sturdier. If you don't have anything that's super sturdy, if you have contact paper too, you can put your clear contact paper over on top of it. So what I did to make my spaces, instead of drawing the spaces, I could have had them all drawn. But then I have to color them, and sometimes you mess up on what you want to write on them. So what you can do is take construction paper and make little squares, and then you can put them around the edge of it. And that way then you can write on it and make sure it's what you want it to say before you glue it down. So that's why you need your glue sticks today, so you can glue down wherever you want these pieces for your game board. Let's see. So you can pick where you want to put start. You can write in each of them. You could make it a game where you roll dice, or I'm going to show you about spinners and dice here in a minute. But wherever you land, you would need to put a direction. So you can make them stand on one foot. You can have games where they have a money game, kind of like the Monopoly game. So you could add, I wanted to do a fashion one, and I'm thinking about doing a fashion one for my Girl Scout troops. So you would land on one and it'd say shoes, $200. Those are kind of expensive shoes, but you would take the money that you would have, and you can get it from another game. So if you wanted to do money, you could borrow it from another game. Just make sure you put it back, and make sure you ask mom and dad too first, your caregivers. But you can get money too at the Dollar Tree. And then you could use money to buy, or you can even make your own money out of construction paper or just regular white paper. You can write down different amounts on each piece of paper. So what you can do is you can put different, I was going to put different kinds of clothing, like a shirt, skirt, and you'd have to collect everything so that you'd have all your clothing before you could stop. So if you went by the finish line and you still didn't have, you know, shoes, you have to have them basic things, you know, t-shirt, shoes, pants, then you have to go back around again until you have all of the items. That's what I was thinking to do with my game. So, but you can do other things. Let's say you like dogs and cats. You could do one that you adopt pets, and you can have different ideas that you need to go get them food, or you need to take them to the vet. You can do different things like that. That would be kind of fun. So let's talk about how you're going to get around your board. How are we going to get from the point A to further on? So what I made, and this is what you can do, is I made a spinner, and you can do that with something that's called a brad. And it's this little dot thing, and it's got two little things that you bend in the back of it. So it works really good when it's flat. And then, ooh, I got free space. So then you could do something like that for a spinner. But what if you don't have one of these brads? They would probably be, if you have a brad, they would probably be in your drawer with all of your office supplies, because that's where you would find it. But you could make another spinner of your own if you had a pencil and a paper clip and some paper. So this game runs a little bit different, or this spinner is a little bit different. The part that moves is the spinner part, and your arrow stays where it's at. So let's make one of those real quick. I'll show you how you make one of those. You're going to take a paper clip and you bend it like this. Let's see if you can see it. There you go. So you would bend one of the little legs out like that. So it makes it like into a pokey thing. Do you see that? Okay. So what stays in it is the arrow part. So you put the arrow into the paper, or into the paper clip. Firm. You can even tape it in if you have to. If you can't figure out how to keep it to stay in, you could always tape it in too. So let me get that in there. Okay, and then you can have any type of pencil as long as it has an eraser. And then you could take a piece of paper, cut it to a circle, or even still a square. Circle would probably be easier to turn. And then you can have different numbers that go around it to where it would stop, and that's how many places you go. So then you would stick it to the top of your eraser. I kind of made a pre-hole of it with a pin, so that you could probably use a pin if you wanted to try to tape it to the pin. But that way then it would stay where it's at here. There we go. And so then I have my arrow, and then I spin it, and oh, it's at number 4. So that would help you make a spinner that way. You could also, if you had dice, you could use a dice. If you don't have dice, there's another thing you can do. If you have a deck of cards. So for the deck of cards, you can pull out an ace, your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because there's 6 places in it, and you take out these 6 in all of the suits. So you know they have 4 different suits in a deck of cards. So then you would do it with your clubs, your hearts, your spades. So you keep going. Whoop. And your diamonds. So let's go to your diamonds. Oop. I'm sorry. I'm still learning how to get this camera it kind of goes the opposite way of where you want to go. I'm learning. So then you could just pick a card. So when you lay out the cards and you pick a card and you picked a 4, then you go 4 spaces. So that's another way that you could go around your board if you didn't have dice or you didn't have the things to make a spinner. If you can think of any other ideas, put them in the comments and I'd like to share those with everyone. So the other part about it is, what do you go around the board with? Well, you can pick it. You can go into your bedroom, and if you have little Lego men, you can use little Lego men. If you have little figurines, like I have, like these little doggies, oops, and kitties, and you can sometimes get these in those machines, the claw machines and things like that. Or like with your little farms, you can have like a little cow and things. And that would be so that when you go around your board, then everybody knows whose figure is yours. So I have the white dog. So the white dog is mine so that I don't lose my place. Now let's say you don't have any of those, which I'm going to use my Wonder Woman because I like Wonder Woman. So you can even use your little superheroes if you have those. But I thought of something else when I was looking in my drawer with all of my office supplies, is I have all these different colored pencil top erasers. So as long as you had the little pencil top eraser, you could use different colors and they can sit on your squares. So you have like your blue, your red, your green, and then you know who is where on the game board. So that's another option if you want to try that. So we also have to talk about let me see if I have. So how do we decorate our board? Well, you can draw a picture and put it in the center of it. You could put your name on it or just the name of the game. What I found was, and I bet you a lot of you have these, are coloring books. So if you pick out a coloring page that you like, and I found one of Wonder Woman, I'm going to color her, and then I'm going to put her in the center of it, cut her out and put her in the center of the game, and then it's going to be my Wonder Woman game. So you can do something like that, or if you have dogs or kittens, or you could draw your own picture if you wanted to do that also. You can do that. It's a very creative thing. Lots of things that you can do. Now, I did say on your instructions to bring a blank sheet of paper. That blank sheet of paper is for your rules. It's very important to have the rules written down. You don't want anybody to think that you're making up rules as you go along. You want to put all the rules down so you can say it's one of the rules so that there are no fights or anything like that. That's really important so that everybody knows what they're supposed to do to complete the game. You can play with your family, and what I would really like to do, is there any questions about